want to be very cautious with overcoming objections if I'm not 100% sure that I understand what they're asking and probably even why they're asking it, because sometimes there's objections that are kind of a trap, and they're asking, and then your response gives them a whole new thing to worry about, and you're just like, oh. Now, if I would have just put that off, bought myself time, plugged it in a little bit later, and maybe even I do both techniques, but I separate them. So they bring up the objection. I say, oh my gosh, that's an interesting question. Tell me, tell me exactly, like, what do you mean by that? Oh, well, I mean, I'm asking about if this and this and this happened. Oh, great question. That's a smart question to ask. That's something we're going to be covering here right in the next section. So hang on to that for a second. It'll make sense when we get there. Well, now I've embraced their objection. I didn't show any fear. I'm not like, oh, you don't want to ask that. I'm not panicking, but I'm taking a moment to make sure I hear them, that I know what their objection really is. And then I'm still saying, oh, great, that's in NOP. And right now we're at L, we're almost there. So, again, the bigger takeaway to this, and I apologize to those of you that there are probably some of you that fully understand and to your core already know this, but working with thousands of salespeople, I know there are a lot of people that for years even continue to have a belief system that if the question is asked, that they have to address it right away, and that there's this pressure to, I gotta respond right away, or they're gonna think I'm, shady or shifty or avoiding the question or whatever. And it's just not the case. Like, it's totally okay. You're in control. You understand the subject matter better than them. You have a sequence of information you're trying to go through. You don't want to leave anything out. You're trying to help them, make sure you cover everything. And the best time to answer that is when it fits in, when we're on that topic. So, give yourself permission. Don't feel like you have to do it their way, or you have to do it now, or whatever. Just like, if that's a belief system that anybody has, just help yourself let go of that and be like, no, just because I think I have to do it now doesn't mean I do. Just because they asked that now doesn't mean I have to answer it now. They're not in control of this. I want to give them the perception of control, but I need to stay in control. So I compliment them for the objection. I embrace the objection or question. I'm glad you brought that up. Tell me more. I'm interested in it. Oh my gosh, that's such a great question. We're going to be covering that here in just a little bit. And very, very rarely will somebody be so type A, so even to the point of rude, that they're like, no, answer my question now. And I mean, it's just so rare that I wouldn't even factor that in. Like, I'm still going to do it this way. And if occasionally somebody says that, I'm still going to say, no, I totally understand. I promise we're going to cover that. But if I don't cover D, E, and F, G is just, it's going to be hanging out there by itself. So let me just get through D, E, and F. I'll get right to G. And people will respect, even if they're type A, they're probably more like that themselves. They like to control things, and they want to control things, and they think that's what's best, but they will respect if you have a reason for it and you take control. They can't help but respect it because they are in your world now, because you're the solar expert and you're the one that knows more about whatever it is they're asking, because that's why they asked.